Call the Broken Arrow City Council meeting to order. We have invocation by Pastor Greg Pittman.
Let's bow and pray together. Father God, we come with gratitude tonight for this great city and for the people, the citizens of this city. We're thankful for what you've given us. We're praying tonight for peace and prosperity for the citizens here. We're praying, Father, for safety and courage for our first responders, and we're grateful for the work that they do. We're praying right now especially for wisdom and discernment for our city councilors and city leaders. Would you help them to make wise decisions? Would you help them as they provide order and stability to our city? We're praying, Father, now for justice and a sense of right and wrong. Would you help us and guide us into truth? We're praying again, God, that you're going to give this group wisdom tonight as they meet and as they make decisions. And we pray all of this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Roll call.
Pickle.
Here.
Green.
Here.
Ford.
Here.
Parks.
Here.
Wimpy.
Here. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda?
Excuse me, Mayor.
Oh, yes.
Administration of the oaths of office.
Oh, that little old thing. Yes. Item 5 is administration of oath of office.
Before you guys get started, if I could have the 4 counselors that are being sworn in come out front for me, please.
I'm gonna look the other way.
First, we'll be doing the oath of office. You all raise your right hands. Repeat after me, please. I state your name.
I, Kevin Ford,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Oklahoma,
and the Constitution of the State of Oklahoma,
that I will not knowingly receive,
that I will not knowingly receive,
directly or indirectly,
directly or indirectly,
any money or other valuable thing
any money or any other valuable things
for the performance or non-performance
for the performance or non-performance
of any act or duty pertaining to my office,
of any act or duty pertaining to my office,
other than the compensation allowed by law.
other than the compensation allowed by law.
I further swear or affirm
I further swear or affirm
that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of a city councilor for the city of Broken Arrow
the duties of city councilor for the city of Broken Arrow
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
If you'll keep your hands up. The loyalty oath. I state your name.
I, Jason Ford,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States
that I will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Oklahoma,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Oklahoma,
and that I will faithfully discharge my duties
and I will faithfully discharge my duties
as a city councilor for the city of Broken Arrow
as a city councilor for the city of Broken Arrow
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Put your hands down. Thank you. Congratulations.
We're back, Johnny.
Did y'all make it?
We made it.
Okay. All right. Item 6 is election of the mayor. Entertain a discussion.
Sure. This is my first time being at this particular process of electing a mayor, but In my personal opinion, I think our current mayor has been doing a good job, and I wouldn't be opposed to her continuing to serve as mayor. If anybody else has anything else?
I'll second that.
I appreciate that. Thank you, guys. So it looks
I'll
like
make
we
that
have
motion.
motion
Second.
in a second. Roll call. Well, it's been an honor. We have a great city, and it's been amazing to serve in the capacity locally, state level, and federally now on national boards and representing our city. We've got great leadership as far as our city manager and assistant city managers, and we've got the best directors and employees in the state. So it's been an honor to serve. So thank you guys for allowing me to continue to chair your council. So
As we said here recently too, that she does spend a tremendous amount of time and effort, certainly a lot more than her fellow councilors do as a mayor. She does an excellent job, and I've worked with a lot of mayors, so really proud to work with her.
you've been around here for a little bit.
Does that mean Glenn continues to be the first dude?
Yes.
First dude.
You come
He's
here to make
excited about
sure.
that.
Did we get a motion on that?
All right. Item 7 is election of vice mayor. I'll entertain a discussion. I'll for one say that I serve with 4 amazing counselors, and you all deserve that opportunity to be vice mayor. I know you all love the city. You do great, amazing things. You say I do a lot, right? But you guys also serve in the same capacity. Each and every one of you are well, you're new, so you've got some time. You've got a little time. Yeah, but I'm just honored to serve alongside of you, and I would think any of you all would be amazing vice mayors, so.
Well, I enjoyed the short time that I was the vice mayor here lately, but I would like to continue on serving as the vice mayor, because it is easy, because the mayor does most of the work. So I would like to continue doing that, if the council so sees.
I'd just like to add that, Johnny, I've really appreciated your leadership that you provided me as a new counselor, but also seeing the passion that you have for the city and its leaders, and, you're a very godly man, and, if we make a motion, I'd love to make the motion for Johnny to continue as vice mayor.
I will second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All right.
Hey, I won.
It was unanimous.
Yes.
No, yeah.
All right.
Thank you all.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Now, item 8, we have item 8P to be pulled for discussion. Are there any other items to be removed?
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda minus item P.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call. Item P is approval of PT 1984-2025 conditional plat or final plat for Spring Creek Crossing, Rocky.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council, Rocky Hinkle, Community Development Director. The item before you is the conditional final plat for Spring Creek Crossing. It is approximately 36.99 acres and consists of 132 lots. It is west of Linden Lane on the north side of Tucson. This land was previously rezoned from Ag 1 to RS4 with an accompanying PUD with it. The conditional final plat was presented to the Planning Commission on February 27, 2025 with an approval of 5-0. A couple of residents spoke, just questioning about the landscape buffering and construction methods, but there was no real opposition or discussion to the conditional final plat itself. Megan, the engineer for the project, is here, I believe, too, if you have any questions.
Okay. We do have one resident signed up to speak on this item. Dustin Fletcher. And the topic of discussion is flooding issues on this property.
How are you guys doing tonight? Congratulations on re-election. You've done an outstanding job being mayor. I'm just curious, is that video, I don't know who, or you don't play that video so they can, there's a video that I would like to show
Okay.
everybody. Oh, there it is. So this is the flooding issues that we're having with this development. South Fort is experiencing flooding like we've never seen before. Obviously, with the dirt, you can see that it is coming from the construction site. And that's my driveway right there. So whenever it does get done, there's obviously mud that's left over from the flooding. This is my neighbor's yard. Yet again, he's experiencing flooding like he's never had before. And this backs up right next to that construction, the 50-foot buffer that is between us and the construction. And then this comes down with my other neighbor that's 3 doors down from me. And you can see the water flow. So this right here, we have never experienced this type of flooding in South Fork.
Wow.
Is it the dirt or is it the amount of water?
Both.
Yes.
So this is my yard on the side over here that you can see, and I'm experiencing, and this is my backyard. There's a structure back there. I've never seen this amount of water flow come through here since the construction is getting into the structure that I have in the backyard. And then probably about, I don't know, 2 years ago, I think it was, I built a patio out here, and I'm getting water on this patio that I've never experienced as well. And yet again, this is the backyard that you can see the water that's penetrating through that buffer zone. So just want everyone to be aware of it. We're on record numerous times, planning commission meetings, council meetings, my wife, Rachel Fletcher, we have stated that flooding is a concern with the development. All this has came to light, so we are seeing the flooding. I think there's a lot of questions with the grading and the engineering that's coming into play. I don't know. Trying to get communication with the developer has been unsuccessful. I've had one conversation, but I haven't heard anything back since I sent these videos to him. So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I don't have the answer, but everybody, I mean, something has to be done. So, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not sure when that video was shot, but I know his neighbor has reached out to me a couple times when it has rained and had turned it over to engineering and construction who manages it during that process. But perhaps the engineer could go up and speak to some of the engineering issues as to when it would be graded and the detention ponds built to store some of this runoff.
Okay,
Well, you know, for the water to be the muddy water, means that they're not controlling the mud as well as the water. I mean, the water's an issue, I'm not saying that, but I thought they were supposed to control that.
They're supposed to have measures in place like silt
Right.
fence and BMPs.
Right.
I believe engineering and construction has issued letters to the developer telling them to clean up and address these issues as well. But as far as timeline, as far as engineering for this development goes, I'd refer to the engineer to answer those questions.
Well, I need a little bit of time to look at this because this was only brought to my attention earlier today. Obviously, I'm not happy with seeing those pictures, especially with the amount of silt that is showing up. And if in fact there was less water and there's more water now, that needs to be addressed. And I do want to speak to Kenny Schwab and to Charlie Bright because as Rocky is correct, and they need to be made aware of what needs to be done. And I don't have a problem issuing a stop work order if in fact they don't comply with the rules and regulation the city has in order to protect the site and not cause any issues with the adjoining properties. And so I would just ask council to let me work with staff and we'll get it addressed. And, I would just like to ask the resident if he would bring this to me from now on, because obviously, once I know about it, I'm gonna be on top of it. You certainly always come to the council members, but the council members are just gonna turn to me and ask me to look into it. And so I would ask any resident that has an issue with any development is to give me an opportunity to look at it, so that way I can update the council on the situation, and then basically make sure that staff knows, and then we can address it.
We can hear from the engineer.
Good evening. My name is Megan Pasco with Tanner Consulting, 5323 South Lewis Avenue. Tanner Consulting is the engineer of record on this project, and I was here before you. I don't know, has it been a year ago that we did the zoning? I have a couple things I'd like to address, if you guys would like to hear it. First of all, on the engineering design, well, actually, let me back up. I have not heard directly from any neighbors on this project, so I just want you to know that this has not made it to my desk. The first time I've heard about it was this afternoon in preparation for this meeting. And I know the rain we had a pretty good rain about 2 weeks ago, and this has not made it to me. I did speak with the developer before this meeting once I heard about this, and I think that the neighbors have been speaking to one arm of the development, the future home builder, but not necessarily the developer responsible for the land. So there's probably some miscommunication there. At this point, the people responsible for this development is the development group, and so those two questions need to be directed to them. And I'm happy to make those connections with the neighbors and give them my information as well, so they are making their complaints to the correct people who can address these things.
I mean, they may not have known
Right.
exactly who to, they
Right,
just
no,
want this
exactly.
problem solved.
So that's what I wanted, when I leave, I can leave my business card, that for the future, we need to make sure we're getting to the right.
Megan, also, I drove by there this weekend, and clearly the site contractor, the developer, the area, the trees are gone, and so there's a lot of dirt there.
Yeah, so I wanted.
And so we need to keep that wet.
And so that's another thing. So since this all, we've been talking about this afternoon, I have videos of the water truck was out there and on this afternoon. So it's not a matter of not addressing it. They are working on it. I was told that they were out there in the rain repairing silt fence when it was raining. It's erosion control measures. We're practicing. We're doing the best we can to mitigate runoff and water. And the conditions that are out there today are not the final conditions. Construction is a painful process to get through. The developer and contractor are under obligations to do the best they can to mitigate these things and then to address those concerns as they happen. Part of our design process, if we go back and look at the PUD, we originally had 3 ponds on the original PUD site plan: a pond in the southwest corner, a pond in the northeast corner, and a pond on the east side. We're at the hilltop. We're at the kind of the high point in the area. And there is a substantial amount of water under existing conditions that flows east into South Fork. And that's why we had a pond there to begin with. Once we got into engineering and in talking with city engineering staff, we made the decision to direct a lot of the water that used to go east to South Fork, northeast to the northeast pond that goes under the highway, in order to reduce even the amount of water compared to existing. So in a 100-year or 1% storm chance storm per the NET drainage plan, we're actually reducing water flow to the east by over 40%. So we did think about these things in engineering design, is that we are trying to mitigate even the perceived concerns of the neighbors, because we knew they had concerns. And so we worked on addressing that. I know Mr. Tolbert, who is one of your inspections department, has been out on site this week, and we have confirmation from him that he is satisfied with the erosion control measures that are on site. Of course, we are open to doing additional things, but when a city inspector comes in and tells us he's satisfied with what he is seeing, we take that as means to go forward.
Well, I don't know that he told you that, respectfully, but I'm going to ask him. And honestly, I have a hard time accepting best we can. So here's my definition. You saw those pictures in that video. Best we can means that doesn't happen again. Because this council is the one that has to answer, not you. And so I'm asking is that we do better than best we can.
Okay,
Okay?
I respectfully, okay.
Well, no, I'm not going to argue with you about it because you have resident here and there's others that are concerned. And so I'm sharing you my concern is that I think you have responsibility to basically follow the code.
No, and I can say that from living there, this project's been going on for a while, and the silt fence just went up, what, maybe 2 weeks ago? It hadn't been very long since the silt fence went up out there.
Okay, so, and in the future, I will ask that these things get notified to me as well. So I would respectfully ask that the city send us a list of things that they would like to see before we come back before you
That's fair.
for final approval, if we could get that in writing.
Well, as I said, with the silt and stuff there, it should have been something that was actually in place before the rain, you know what I mean, even came, without a inspector coming out, because I haven't seen a job lately in the last few years where that much silt came off, you know what I mean, in the roadways where it hadn't before. So some way it was escaping, you know what I mean. I know the water was carrying it, but that dirt was going to have to be moved, you know, if it fills up enough.
Are there any other questions I can answer this evening?
I don't know if I have a question for you directly, but this is probably for Mr. Spurgeon. So, I mean, if I was a neighbor there, I wouldn't know who to call. I mean, or I would call it. So is there some way that we can, I mean, I'm sure they have a big billboard if people wanting to buy houses and how much the houses are. That, oh, it's not up there yet. Or have something posted so when people do run into issues, they do know who to call. Or should they just call the city and then we can tell them or track down?
I would prefer them call the city.
Okay.
If they have an HOA and I just don't remember, we can contact the HOA and let them know if they have any issues to contact us. But I know Mr. Fletcher very well, and I just ask that any of his neighbors, because I would not want to live in that, and I know the council members wouldn't either. And so is to contact my office, because then I can send inspectors out to take a look at it to actually address those concerns. I agree that sometimes things are going to happen. And this isn't the first time the city's had to stop a developer because they were not in compliance with the stormwater management controls. But to see those pictures infuriates me, quite frankly, because they shouldn't have to live in those conditions, and I wouldn't want to. And so I'm just asking anybody that development, I'm asking Mr. Fletcher if he would pass it along, and I know the council member does too, is just to let my office know, and then I can send the engineering and construction department out. Assistant city manager is one of the best in the state at looking at these issues. We can get them addressed, and it is our responsibility, once we find out, to provide a list of those things that need to be corrected and a reasonable time to make those remedies. And I understand that's what she's asking for. I'm finding out about this today, and so to me, once this meeting's over, I'm going to talk to Kenny and to Charlie, get with the site, because there is a difference between the home builder and the site and the person that's building the site. And there needs to be some measures taken, because the residents should not have to basically live in those type of conditions.
And I do appreciate that, because I know we have approved a lot of developments, and residents have came to us and said, there's going to be flooding, there's going to be problems, and we are always able to assure them, no, the city will make sure everything is done right. And so I'm glad you brought it, Dustin, I'm glad you brought it to us so we can make sure it's done right. And Michael, I'm glad that you're standing firm to make sure that we are holding our word to our citizens like we told them that we would.
And if I remember correctly, there's been a sale of the company. It's no longer.
a new developer.
Yeah, a new developer between the time it was approved and now, so there's a lot of who do you go to, so.
Yeah.
I have a quick question for the resident. That was a lot of water, a lot of freestanding water. Is there the potential that it would come into the home itself?
So we've had two good rains that has happened since this development. The first one is when we noticed, well, this is a lot of water, right? All the neighbors were taking videos, pictures. Noticed it got into the garage, or in that outdoor shop. Noticed a little bit on my patio. And then after this next one, which was about, what, 2 weeks ago, roughly? Then it was like, I'm seeing it's progressing. Everybody's noticed it, even down there at the end of the street. So we're seeing it progress, and as far as getting inside the home, you know, from what I'm seeing right now on my patio, I mean, we're heading that way.
Okay.
Absolutely. My apologies, Mr. Spurgeon. I didn't know that I could come to you on that. This thing has kind of just, we're at a point, I mean, my understanding was that Kyle was the main guy to talk to. And I did reach out to him, and he came out. I mean, he got right back with me that day when I reached out to him, because I sent him some pictures and stuff. And he went out there that day. I couldn't make it. I was at the office working. I haven't heard anything back from him since. I do know that in that video, the neighbor next to me and the one further down, somebody reached out to them, but nobody's reached out to me. I don't know if it's hard feelings from the past of how we fought this development. I mean, let's put it in the past. It's going to get developed. That's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, but what I do have a problem is when property that we've worked so hard for, my family, and we've earned it, and now it's going to get destroyed like that. That's when we kind of draw the line. So, but I appreciate everybody.
You can always contact your council member, and I'm just letting you know, because I'm just hearing about this today, is it's my job to be your advocate on behalf of the council. And if you got an issue, please come to me, and I'll update the council. You can update all 5 of them as well, but I'm going to update them, and we're going to work on trying to come up with a solution. Kyle is very responsive, but there is a difference between who's building the site as well as is actually building the homes. And my team understands that. And maybe if we've given them some direction and that isn't the right direction, we need to correct that. And so, yes, you can just text me, call me, and I'll make sure if there's an issue, we'll address it. And I think I made it pretty clear here that do our best is not acceptable. We need to follow the code, and we need to not let any water come off of that side that's going to impact. There's a lot of people that showed up at this meeting and expressed their opinion, and council actually made a decision on behalf, as a majority, to move forward with this development. I think it's going to be a really good development, but you should not be impacted, is how I see it.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much.
We did have one other resident. He didn't want to speak, but he did want to say that he is in opposition, and it's due to mud flowing onto our property from Spring Creek Crossing Development. And then he's got a written statement of how his property is being basically destroyed by the sitting water.
So can we make a motion to table this until resolution has been made?
That's a great idea.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Let's go ahead and click this since it's not the actual motion.
It should have the motion on there now, showing tabled.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, item 10 is public hearings, appeals, presentations, recognitions, and awards. 10A, presentation of the results of the Parks and Recreation Microservice Survey. Aaron.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Councilors, Mr. Spurgeon, Mr. Dennis, Mr. Green. Congratulations on another term, by the way. I am here to present to you the results of the micro-survey for the Parks and Recreation. We did this back in March. It went for about 3 weeks, 3,509 responses, which I think is just, once again, a testament to our citizens' engaged feelings for what it is that we're doing. And it's just exciting. It really is. I want to point out Matt Hendren is at the back, and he can answer any questions that we have as far as the results are concerned. But he definitely let me take the lead on all of it. So he was big help with putting this all together. So we focused on 4 different things with this survey: the community center in South BA, Elam Park Master Plan, the expansion of the trail system, and then some other parks and recreation amenities. We're going to start off with the community center. We looked at 5 different features for this. And what you can see there, those percentages, those represent the percentage of positive response from folks that either said that it was essential or very important. And what you can see is indoor walking track ended up with 63%. Flexible multi-purpose spaces was next, followed by indoor recreational swimming pool, multi-court gymnasium, and then the esports gaming space. You'll notice that I have the indoor swimming pool in yellow because I want to point out that while that was 56%, We also did follow up with another question in which we told the residents, the citizens, those who took this, that indoor swimming pool would have an estimated cost tag of about $20 million. So we wanted to know how they actually wanted to spend that money. What they told us was that they would prefer that money to actually be spent on other amenities, whether that's Elam Park or around Broken Arrow within our Parks and Recreations department. Speaking of Elam Park, we put up the master plan on there so folks could go back, they could familiarize themselves with this conceptual rendering of what this area could look like as a destination in Broken Arrow. And then we went back and asked them, here are about 10 different amenities from that master plan. We want to know how important these are to you. And you can see here, exercise stations and trails was number one, 73%, followed by park pavilions, splash pad, tennis and pickleball courts, and I did spell it correctly this time, Counselor. Various types of gardens, basketball and futsal courts, synthetic turf and entertainment space, and then rounding out with 30% or less was sand volleyball courts, the 18 disc golf course, and the skate park. Moving on to the trail system, this is where we asked about the expansion and some destinations around Broken Arrow, which folks would like to see some pedestrian access, some safe pedestrian access to. As you can see, I'm sure is no surprise, Rose District finished as first with 63%, but it's all of those percentages are pretty lumped together there whenever you get to Dean Haas Park and the shops at Aspen Creek. Only 3 percentage points separates those. And then the other potential projects. We wanted to know about outdoor pickleball courts, a new dog park in the northeast part of the city, and then some improvements to the athletic fields. And so you can see the percentages there ranging from 35 down to 15 as far as additional sand volleyball courts at Nienhaus. You know, one of the things I do want to point out in this is I looked at this, the outdoor pickleball courts, while it's 35% here, you go back to Elam Park and pickleball courts is 55%. So there is a little bit of a range and variance there for where they want to see those. Same things with the sand volleyball courts, 30% back at Elam, here 15%. So it seems to be a concentrated effort in where they really want to see some of these amenities. So what's going to happen next? We're going to post these on the website. We're going to share them with the public now that you have been presented with them. We're going to use this. You're going to use this now that you have your books as you're starting to look at a lot of these projects and what can be considered and what should be put into that 2026 general obligation bond. And then we're already planning for the next micro survey, which I can tell you Emergency Management Director Jamie Ott, Police Chief Lance Arnold, and the Fire Chief Jeremy Moore have already been a big help with that respect. And I hope to be back before you May 6th so we can talk about that one. Happy to answer any questions that you have.
Well, I was talking to one of our representatives yesterday, actually, and he was making it a point of saying that we have no indoor basketball courts. And now we have Nienhuis and we have, you know, the community center, but they're getting booked up for volleyball. So that he never can just go in there and free play with his sons because they're always booked up with volleyball. So just a note for indoor basketball courts of some, I don't know, so.
Well, if I can, Mayor, the survey that we did last year showed the community center was very favorable then. What I was impressed was the indoor walking track. And there is a way to create an amazing amenity that has a walking track up here with actually lower levels. And then really the use, I mean, Matt has talked about the exact same thing you have about the two community centers are tied up, and we need to look at other uses for the Elam Park should the voters approve it. And so we're tracking the same way that you are in terms of making sure that everyone has that opportunity. And then it's just a matter of scheduling. And I just really think that we need to take a strong look about what would be in there and how it would be used. But a walking track, I was super excited. And I wanted to get the council members' thoughts about the voters, the surveyor thinking that we should not do water and that we should actually use it for other types of improvements. I thought that was surprising.
Yeah. There's on the corner of 11th and Lewis is the Hardesty, what's it called? It's for disabled.
I can't think of the name
Center
of it.
for That's what it is. And theirs is, it's a two-story building, but the upstairs, it overlooks the basketball court and the recreational court that has all kinds of things, right? It's lined out for every kind of sport you can think of, the floor is. But then there's a walking track that goes around the edge, and then there's like a meeting space that's up there and stuff, so.
That's a model the Y is using a lot as well,
Yeah.
is the walking track up on the second floor, which is open all the time, no matter what activities are
Yeah.
going on on the floor.
So, kind of cool.
Our church, we go to in downtown Tulsa, First Methodist Church has that also. Have several basketball courts in there, then they have a big, you know what I mean, circular walking trail up above, you know, it works out nice.
You know, I wanted to share with council and ask Aaron if he would talk about it, is the fact that the sports facilities did not score very well, which is a challenge to me because I know how much of an economic development driver our sports complex are, albeit, you know, the girls softball, Little League baseball, soccer, which is one of the biggest programs in the state. And so part of the discussion I believe council has to have is that how does that work into the overall package, or what options are there out there? Because we've fallen off that map in terms of the way the sports teams follow from Kansas City, Broken Arrow, to down to Dallas. Now it's Kansas City, Northwest Arkansas, and Dallas, which to me, it's because they have the turf and they've got the other amenities that the parents and the kids are looking for. So how do we move back into looking at it not just from the turf, but also as the economic development impact it has to our hotels and our businesses? And so I was surprised that it was somewhat lower. Aaron, you want to touch on that?
Yeah, I'd say from a layman's perspective, somebody from the outside looking in, I will fully admit I'm not an expert on parks and recreation by any means, but I was surprised, especially as the father of a competitive soccer player, and seeing some of the lower percentages. But I think probably Director Matt Hendry could give you a little bit more of a professional opinion, if you will, as far as the results are concerned.
Well, and some of that could be the people who took the results
that's
don't
just
have
true.
kids that play sports, so.
That's what I was getting ready to say the exact same thing. So
They should have been rallying, those baseball teams and softball teams, those parents should have been rallying to take this survey is what.
So if you've got kids that play soccer or, you know, girls softball, turf's going to be very important to you. And like you said, it just depends on how many of those families actually took the survey. And so
Yeah.
it might have skewed the results a little bit. Absolutely.
My question, do we have any idea of the demographics of the number of folks who took the survey?
We have a little bit. There were 102 registered users who took this, and what I mean by registered is we partner with Polco. And whenever we first did this, they had the opportunity to go in and create an account. About 531 people did. Of those, about 102 participated. So it really it's pretty minuscule. But I can tell you, just looking at that, if it stayed true with the 3,509, it was an older demographic that responded.
And I think that's going to give us the same
Yeah,
result
yeah.
with the pool. 'Cause
That's right.
everyone I've talked to were thrilled about a pool, but in the
That
survey
doesn't
didn't
show
come
it.
out very,
Yep.
it didn't show. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's not what people want. It just means that people took the survey. It wasn't a high priority on there.
Yes, sir.
Interesting.
Matt, anything you want to add for the council?
No, just that all this information is going to be really useful as we move forward towards the 2026 bond. And like Mr. Spurgeon said, I think there's some opportunities out there that we need to work through as far as funding, possibly some of these improvements at our sports complexes. And so, I think that there's definitely opportunities to be innovative with how we basically handle the bond moving forward, to where we can hopefully accomplish, getting something on everybody's wish list, even though our funding is limited.
Yeah. Okay. All right, thank you, sir.
If I may, I want to add one other thing, just real quickly.
Yep, just one.
Our community, just real quickly, our community development department is working with NCOG on the regional Go Plan update, and we've passed along our previous data with them on our trail system and some of the things that you've seen here. I was just talking with Mr. DeRoga up in the auditorium. I'm going to pass along that data to him, so he has an updated version for the open house next Wednesday. I think it's at the Public Safety Complex. And so we're going to be able to work with them on their regional plan as well.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Can I take one before you walk too far? It's not directly parks, but it is survey. The survey prior to this was on, we did the expansion of the Batmobile system, and I haven't heard anything, I don't know if anyone else has heard anything on how that survey came out. Are we gonna hear something
Let me
on that?
defer to the Community Development Department on that. Rocky, would you like to take that?
So the survey results there was, to expand the hours, were from 10 and 2 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. And a little bit of the area, one of the areas they picked had a higher priority than others to expand the service area. However, we are in talks with Tulsa Transit on what it's going to take to expand that service.
Okay. Thank you.
When does phase 2 end, Rocky? Just a reminder for the council. It's coming up soon.
It's coming up here real soon, in the next month or so, I think.
Okay. Which means at a point, council will be having to consider the third and final phase.
Correct.
Okay.
Which would be the expansion of those hours on the weekend and expanding the service area.
Okay.
And you've shared your experience with the staff, haven't you?
I shared it with Mr. Spurgeon.
Okay.
Yes, he did. And we're waiting for a call back from Tulsa Transit.
Okay. Thank you. Just wanted to put that on the record. So, thank you.
Yeah, that level of customer service that was brought to my attention is not acceptable.
Did their best. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, 10B, presentation and annual programming update by the Broken Arrow Genealogy Society. Lori Hill.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, Mr. Spurgeon. I'd like to echo Aaron's comments and congratulate you all. You get to hear from me scheduling meetings now for the next few years, so lucky you. As part of the annual user group use agreements, they are required to come in and provide an annual update to let you know what they've been doing the last year. Mayor Wimpy serves on the Veterans Board, and then Councilor Green serves on the Genealogy Society. So those are the two groups that we have here this evening. The first one that's going to present is Jay Yeager with the Genealogy Society, and then following Ms. Yeager is going to be Brian Bandy with the Veterans Center.
Okay,
So,
thank you, ma'am.
Good evening.
Evening.
Mr. Spurgeon, Mayor Wimpy, congratulations on your new terms. I brought you a page different than the usual black and white business papers. And in the little box, there is a picture of D.B. Layton, who came to Broken Arrow about 1910. And he brought his oil rig that had been successful in Kansas and in Cleveland, Oklahoma. When he came here, he went to the bottoms land, as I understand, and was not so successful in finding new oil. Little detail. Comes out of studying individual genealogy and family genealogy. The museum itself has the generational picture of how Broken Arrow developed. And we find often that people come to us with individual questions and family questions, wanting to go further in their own search. We continue significant hospitality hours available in the museum and additional hours of study if we receive internet or personal questions. We hold quarterly meetings open to the public for historical and family research reports. And we're still quite connected with the heritage societies of the area. Additionally, have been involved with genealogy, not only with the Muskogee program through their library system, but with the archives in Okmulgee, the Muskogee Creek Nation. And we are just on the verge of opening up some possibilities. In this last year, we attended meetings that brought to us a resource of the Tulsa City County Library now has a collection of 350,000 documents, and many of those are journals with multiple articles or manuscripts, etc. And it is based in the Indian rights movement of the late 1800s into the 1900s. It's a significant collection and access. We are wanting to show lots of people, so we're on that track. We thank the city for providing new carpet for us in July. Looks terrific, stays tidy. We like it very much. The collection continues to grow, and we continue to space our books carefully. Both a Civil War collection and Missouri historical journals, and how-to books and genealogy were added, and vertical files. As you know, Marmee Apsley was past president, and she continued work this year with the museum in consolidating individual vertical files, surname files that are significant for Broken Arrow. So we look forward to continuing work with the new museum director and looking at program options that we might have together. And stability-wise, we wish we had more people, particularly for the library hours. We are doing okay, and the budget is very stable, small but stable. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for all that you're doing.
I just wanted to thank you. I'm a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution, and our chapter actually meets in your genealogy.
Right.
And I think the carpet does look better, for sure, too. I'm happy about that, for sure. But thank you for you let us use that. We wouldn't have a place to
Right.
meet if you didn't let us
We
do
like
that, so
it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Great job.
Andy?
Good evening, Mayor Wimpy, Mr. Spurgeon, council members. Congratulations on your elections. I was just elected as the chairman of the board of directors for the Veterans Center in March, so here I am. We have currently in our organization, we have the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the American Legion, we have the Purple Heart Association, the Vietnam Veterans Association, the Blue Star Mothers, and the Oklahoma Department of Veteran Affairs has an officer that staffs there to assist veterans. We started out, our financial starting balance was $1,463. We expended approximately $23,000, we had $23,000 in deposits. We spent $20,000, so we're still in the green with about $2,600 in the bank right now, and we're working on some plans to try to increase our funding over the next year. Our outreach, the Blue Star Mothers have done an amazing job. They have shipped over 2,400 care packages to service members around the world over the past 12 months. The American Legion has placed 512 wreaths for fallen veterans at Floral Haven Cemetery during Wreaths Across America. And the BAVC service organization supported 23 community activities in the last 12 months. Howard Coy with the American Legion is their veteran service officer. He has assisted 945 veterans over the last months with service claims. When you add that in with Bobby Jones with the Oklahoma Department of Veteran Affairs, who's assisted over 1,173 veterans in the last 12 months, the outreach and assistance to veterans with services is just amazing from that building. I don't think anybody can compare with us.
Yeah.
And that's all I have, unless you have questions for me. I promised the mayor I'd keep it under 90 seconds.
Yes. No, you're doing an amazing job, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
I just want to mention is that you're going to get notice from Lori pretty soon about a time to come visit with the council members in June or late July, possibly about, our next bond package. And there's not a lot on there that, really the Veterans Center need being so relatively new. But I do want you to come talk to the council members about how things are going and look at some additional storage. And so there really, maybe we'll have an opportunity before actually you meet with the council members, but we definitely want to make sure you all have what you need to continue to service our veterans.
I would love that opportunity, and you mentioned Lori Hill, and I just want to tell you all that I can't thank you enough that you provide her for our assistance, because she is a workhorse and she does an amazing amount of stuff for us, and it's deeply appreciated.
Yeah, she does, yes.
We would agree with that.
Yes. Well, and just for the record, the Veteran Center is available to rent. So if you have an activity or an event, a bridal shower, or baby shower, or reunion or something, anything. There's tables, chairs, there's a kitchen, commercial kitchen in there, so a catering kitchen. But yeah, and it's got a great patio with a covered little pergola now in the back, and so it's for rent, and People should rent it all the
Yes,
time.
it is.
So, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, item 10C, presentation and annual programming. I already said that. Item 10D, update on the 2026 obligation bond package.
Mayor and members of council, good evening. Just a couple of things. First off, the partnership and internal steering committee had their first meeting. They were given their books to look at, and I anticipate that they will meet, I would say probably 2 or 3 times, I think 2 for sure, before the meeting in June. And then I've asked them all, if their schedule permitted, to come to any meetings the council members have, to hear the conversation the council members have with the user groups, to make sure they fully understands what's being expected. And so that's gone very well. Council's received your books, and I wanted to make sure that you all have about 2 months to actually go through them, because there are a lot of projects that have been generated from comments from the public, the leadership team, citizens, surveys, and so there's just a lot for you all to look at, and I felt like it was necessary to get it out to give you plenty of time to do that.
The book is this long, this thick.
I mean, are they made binders that look
Yeah,
like that?
I've never seen a binder that large, so that was quite impressive.
I was proud of the binder.
It doesn't fit in my purse, that's for sure, so.
Not at all.
Well, I can tell you, engineering, construction, Charlie and Shannon did a great job. I think we picked the right consultant to help us throughout the phases, and we'll be entering, once council starts to come into focus, move into another phase to help us with finalizing into the public education. Jacobs has done a really good, that document or that book actually is more of a program than it is just for one bond package, because council's going to make a decision, whatever level that is, to take to the voters. There's still going to be a lot of projects, probably 2/3 of what's in there, and that's something for future councils to actually be able to use as a baseline when they look at future bond package programs. So I'm excited about it. There's a lot in there. The index or the table of contents is incredible in terms of understanding how to read through everything. So I wanted to mention that, and also how good of a job Shannon Marshall and all of the engineering construction team, Travis Small, Charlie, are really doing to make it real easy on the council members to have all the information you need to be able to ask questions and make a decision. So thank you, Charlie. Please pass that along. Recreation survey results, you heard those tonight. I think there's probably a need for us as we move through the year, as we get closer, to have council send out something else just to gather some information before you actually finalize everything. So it's really exciting to see those results. And I just want to let you know is that you're going to hear from Lori again about possible dates for the public forums. As we get, obviously got to go through the summer, but trying to get those on the schedule because everybody is so busy. So I appreciate your time, probably 3 of those in different parts of towns, and I think she's going to be sending something out very soon to that. But everything's moving according to the schedule, and we'll actually take a break from that and then get into the budget and then come right back into the bond program.
She was sure persistent in trying to get these dates. She said, I just need 3 days to do that. And we ended up with 1 day, and she was excited about that finally, because it's kind of a tough time, but boy, she just really did a good job of trying to get that all.
She's like, hi again.
Your council's really divided up into different areas right now and busy.
Yeah.
It is, and it's exciting because I know you all are out there trying to represent the community in so many different respects, which is good, and I understand. So we'll come back and just probably have the one, and then we'll look towards the end of July for that second one. And the third one was really more of just a wrap-up, which I really wasn't sure we would need it. I just wanted to make sure. And so it's things will move quickly. I mean, with the summer coming up, I just want to make sure we get things on your calendar, and I'll continue to provide updates. My first letter, and the final thing is my first letter, which council saw about where we're at, it started to go out last week, according to finance director, to the cycles, and so they'll have that. Second will go out this summer, and so we're just moving right along as we talked about, and we'll have more to discuss upcoming meetings.
I thought the book, really, I've read through it a couple of times, really looked good until I realized that it was still several $100 million too much. So it was going to make it a little bit more difficult, but it really is easy reading, to be honest.
Vice Mayor's got a lot of time on his hands. He's read through it a couple of times.
Twice. I was excited to read through it.
I think I'm still on chapter 1.
There's great projects in there, and I don't envy the job, because I know how hard we've had to do just to be able to give you what we think are the priorities. There are so many great projects that maintain a great quality of life and build upon it. So I don't envy the job, council. At some point later this fall, probably around November, December, it'll be, respectfully in your hands on what the final decisions are. I just don't envy that because there are so many great projects in there that people have talked about, have clamored for, asked for, believe would help support the direction we're going. So it's going to be a fun process. And, when I pass out those books, you just know it's like, okay, here we go. So I appreciate your time. I want to give you plenty of time. If you have any questions between now and the end of the month when we have a short meeting, just please let me know.
Okay. And item 11 is citizens' opportunity to address the council on general topics related to city business or services. No action may be taken on matters under this item. We do have one signed up. Is there Sebastian Stevens? Well, okay. Well, maybe we'll reach out to him, or he'll reach back out.
Yes, I spoke to Mr. Bell from the chamber today that we'd received this, and obviously it's related to. Would you mind reading it for the council members, Mayor?
The item is Broken Arrow Economic Development Authority questions. So.
Basically, the question is, why do we have a contract with the EDC? And as the council members know, I term it as Economic Development Administration. And there are various parts of economic development administration, and for about the last, I would say, 15 years approximately, the city has had an agreement with the Economic Development Corporation to provide certain aspects of the economic development administration, focusing on workforce development, number one. Secondly is the retention and the expansion and the recruitment of the manufacturing, industrial, and high-tech areas within our community, because that's our expertise. And then a board was created to oversee that, to provide recommendations to the council. So if I had a chance to speak with him, or Curtis does, I'd be glad to provide him with a copy of the latest agreement that was approved last June by the governing body unanimously, which outlines the terms and conditions, expectations, and deliverables, which, as you know, every month we get a report that shows they're actually providing what is required within the contract.
Alrighty. Item 12 is general council business. 12A, consideration, discussion, and possible appointment of 2 trustees to the Oklahoma Municipal Assurance Group Board, and approval of and authorization for the mayor to execute the official ballot casting votes for the 2 trustee appointments.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm just going to read right from the RFA because I think this is important. Is the Oklahoma Municipal Assurance Group, or OMAG as we know it, is a provider of general liability, auto, workers' compensation, property, and risk management services for Oklahoma cities and towns, and they've been around since 1977. It is governed by a 7-member board, nominated and elected by its members. The city has been a member of OMAG since 1982. The terms of 2 trustees expire on June 30th. 8 individuals are nominated to fill the 2 vacancies. After review of the biological summary, it is my recommendation that council cast their ballot for Vicki Patterson, who is currently on the board from Broken Bow. I work with Vicki. And I know that the mayor and Councilor Ford get an opportunity to work with Carl Birkenhart, who is with Stonewall. And obviously that's going from not an incumbent. I mean, anybody that's going to serve the incumbents does a great job. But we've had a good relationship with Carl, and I have on the policy committee for OML for the last year. And I would recommend basically Carl to the council along with Mrs. Patterson.
Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
The motion and a second. Roll call. Item B is consideration, discussion, and possible approval of selection of Clarity of Place as the consultant for Visit Broken Arrow 5-year strategic plan. Michaela.
Hello, good evening. So I am here tonight to quickly ask for your approval for the firm that we've selected for a new strategic plan for tourism. So I've been in my position now for 1 year today. It seems like it flew by really fast. I've definitely settled in and got my feet wet. Broken Arrow, we have a great tourism history. We have a lot of things that have been done over the years. And we're growing so fast, and everybody is very excited about that. And our tourism world is very excited. We have our board that has lots of ideas. We have our citizens that have lots of ideas. We have our hoteliers that have lots of ideas. I have lots of ideas sitting in my office. And so our last strategic plan was done in 2017, and it was a 3-year plan. A lot has changed. I've looked over that a lot of times. We've pretty much gone through everything that was in that plan from 2017. A lot is different. We have grown a lot. And so I think it's great timing to sort of get a new direction so that we have a focus. And so, we could be all over the place. So we put out a RFP a little over a month ago. We actually got 12 responses. I put in the RFP that we got 10, but I didn't count 2 of them. So we got 12 proposals back, and the range of bids was all over the place from $39,000 up to $174,000, which I thought was very interesting. They were from all over the country. We did thorough review and looked at every proposal. There were some really great ones. And we then did some virtual interviews with the top 4. And while they were all really great, we just loved Clarity of Place. They're actually partnering with Kimley Horn, who we all love and are familiar with. They have great methodology and great experience. I talked to 4 communities that they worked with, and they love them and said they want them back. And so I just feel really comfortable with this organization that we chose. They were on the lower end price-wise, which is always nice too. And I just feel really confident about them coming in and giving us some expert recommendations. So I would just request for.
So will
approval
this
for that.
be, like, they'll also give maybe fun, creative marketing ideas or, not events, but different campaigns that we can push as a city to bring more people to our city, or?
Yes, we've got a whole kind of list of things that we're hoping that they will give us, give us recommendations on. They have a lot of access to different data sources, which was very interesting to us too. So we'll go through the whole thing. We'll go through, here's your current tourism assets. Are there ways that what you currently have can improve? Are there new things that we see as far as who's going to be visiting your city as is? Or if we get a new tourism attraction, who could we possibly bring new? Obviously the amphitheater coming in is going to change our tourists. They're going to probably be this whole other segment that we don't have visiting us right now. And so we're going to look at that for the future and how that might change. Are we going to become more of a music culture destination where people wouldn't consider us before, hopefully. But, obviously we've been marketing the family as family friendly, and, we don't want to change that. But are there some other things that we're maybe not thinking about? I think we have an opportunity to be more, to reach more of our veteran tourists. We have great assets for veterans that I wish we would push more. There's just all sorts of things. Like I said, I'm sitting in my office, have all these lists of things, but just to get direction of things that might work today and then up through 5 years. So.
I would just add the mayor's comment, and I would want to talk to Councilor Ford because he's on there, is I would hope sometime whenever, as soon as Bob Mudd tells us who the promoter is that we could get the board and the consultant together to talk about the cross-marketing and the developing of a strategy for utilizing our hotels, especially for the talent that's going to be utilizing the facility. And I think this is a great idea whenever the board told me they were going to do it. And I think we need to take that next evolution and to look at our total offerings to see exactly how we can step up our game, especially with the amphitheater coming online next year. So this is the perfect time to do that. I just want to know if the counselor wanted to add anything being on the board.
No, I would agree, and I am one who likes a strategic plan. I do think that we have a great tourism board, but we all have ideas, and they're all over the place. And Michaela does a really good job trying to keep us on a path, but it'd be nice to have a path that for sure that we want to do. But even the things that we've added, I feel like have already started to be successful. So
yeah, we've already done a lot of great things just in the past year. But we plan on having focus groups, and we'll include the Visit Broken Arrow board and probably you all and our hoteliers group and the amphitheater group and whomever. We want to get as much information as we can from them so that they can give us a full answer. So.
And this fee will come out of the tourism?
Yes, our tourism reserve funds.
Okay, just wanted to.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions or further discussion?
Motion to approve?
Second,
I have a motion and a second. Roll call.
or Justin will.
Thank you, Mia.
Thank you all.
Item C, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of and authorization to execute agreement, gas facility safety improvement between Enable Oklahoma Intrastate Transmission and City of Broken Arrow. Charlie Bright.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, Mr. Spurgeon. Congrats again on the new term for the four of you. Item tonight is about an agreement with Enable, who I don't know the exact relationship, but they end up owning the 24-inch gas line that's along Houston Street. It's called Energy Transfer for the gas line itself, but Enable's one of the parent companies. What it's for is an agreement, as we've gotten into construction on Houston Street. I'll take you back actually a little bit in the history. As you recall, we've designed both miles of Houston Street when we got the bill of what it was going to cost to relocate their line. I think they estimated a little over $2 million at the time for us to move their line. So instead we said, hey, we're going to redesign our road, move our road away from you, which is what we've done. We're out there in construction. During the construction process, we didn't know how long their casing was under our road. Now that the road shifted, we got down, we're next to it. The existing casing under the road is not long enough to cover it to go under what the new road will be. And so obviously the asset that it is, the high pressure 24-inch line, they want to protect it under the road as best they can. So they need to case their line the rest of the way under our road. We've negotiated back and forth with them for a long time. The ultimate agreement that came down was for about $110,000. We do think it's high, but we don't have a lot of negotiating power with them right now. And I will say it's still a lot better than the $2 million we're going to have to pay them to relocate their line. So we've come to that agreement. We're recommending approval. So as soon as we have it, they'll get out there, do the work, case their line, and then we'll get moving on with construction.
Do they have to just case part of it? I mean, part of it's cased, you said.
Correct. Part of it's case. I don't remember the exact number of feet. I think it's 8 to 10 feet. It is crazy, but there's a lot of safety standards that come into play about digging around it and how you fuse the casing together to go around an existing 24-inch gas line. It's not as simple as just going down and doing it. It is a big construction issue. I still think it's high, but we've tried to negotiate with them the best we can. Ultimately, the agreement does say we'll pay the actual cost. So if their costs come in cheaper, we only pay what they've paid. So hopefully it comes in a little less.
So, Mr. Bright, help me out because I did grow up in the pipelines crossroads of the world, but I am not an engineer. Casing. What does that mean for us non-engineers in the world?
Yeah, so they have a 24-inch gas line running parallel to our road. Once you get between Olive and Garnett, it actually crosses our road around the creek. And we do the same. Whenever we bore a water line or anything else, ultimately what you don't want to do is have a maintenance issue on a line under a roadway because then later you're digging up that roadway. You're digging up the road, you're causing traffic backups. You're also probably more likely to have damage to the line while it's under the road because you have heavy traffic driving over it, everything else. So what you do is you put a case that goes under the road and extends past the road in both directions, and then that 24-inch line is a steel casing, and then that 24-inch line runs into the casing. So if you ever have a problem in the future, you technically could pull that line out of the casing, keep the casing there, and insert a new line without actually having to get down and dig through the roadway. We case our water lines and a lot of other lines when they go under creeks or roads, stuff like that.
Now, across the Broken Arrow Expressway, the city replaced the line just this last year that they dug up on both ends, but they had to move it back and forth underneath that casing. And we have a lot of high-pressure lines besides this one.
Absolutely.
In the northern part of Broken Arrow, you know. You see our development, you can see it, that they come through there. And so you want to make sure that they're properly protected, especially as gas lines.
Yeah, and this one's the biggest one in town. It's a big deal, and it's not, as we've talked about before, it's not servicing Broken Arrow. It's a transmission line that's going through the region. It's important to this whole portion of the country, I'm sure. But yeah, we want to make sure it's protected under the road.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion?
I make a motion, we approve the requests.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 13, preview ordinance. 13A, consideration, discussion, and possible preview of an ordinance closing a utility and drainage easement from Heritage BA on property located at Evans and 71st Street. Rocky.
Good evening again, Madam Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council, Rocky Hinkle, Community Development Director. The property owner, Heritage BA, has submitted an application requesting the closure of a 25-foot wide utility and detention easement on property located approximately 1/8 mile east of Evans Road and north of Kenosha. The property is currently in the process of being platted as Heritage United. Staff has reviewed the documents and recommends acceptance of the utility and drainage easement closure. Staff recommends you preview the ordinance and set it for adoption.
Any discussion?
I make a motion, we approve the ordinance.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Roll call. All right, item 14 is ordinances, and we have a whole slew of them.
I'll read this first one and then we'll go over the next slew
Okay.
of them. Okay, so this ordinance is, the property owner is Independent School District Number 3 of Tulsa County. They have submitted an application requesting the closure of a 10-foot wide water line easement on property located approximately 1/4 mile south of Albany and 1/4 mile west of County Line Road. The property is currently developed as Broken Arrow High School. Staff has reviewed the documents and recommends acceptance of the easement closure. This ordinance was previewed by the City Council on April 1st, 2025. Staff recommends you adopt ordinance number 3856 and approve the subsequent emergency clause.
Any discussion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
The motion and a second. Roll call. Entertain a motion to approve the emergency clause.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. And going forward, we can consider all the rest of the ordinances, correct, under one?
No, I'll take it from here.
Okay.
We need to finish the vote on the emergency
I
clause.
thought you said we could.
Yes,
He did, I
After
heard
this
him.
one.
I'm a witness.
yes. But we need to finish the
We
vote
gotta-
on the
we have to
emergency
do the
clause.
Okay.
You gotta click.
Mayor.
Did you click?
It's me. Sorry.
You just looking
I may
around for the
reconsider
rules.
my
I know,
motion.
like, who is
Who's
it?
making a
It's me.
mistake?
All right, so
Okay.
the next slew of items are ordinances amending the zoning ordinances for certain locations around the city for developments that are already in place. This is basically just updating the zoning maps. So you could make one motion to approve items C, E, G, I, K, M, O, Q, S, U, W, Y, AA, and AC as one motion.
I think you
will
should go through each one of them.
I'm here, I can do that.
That's how you recite your alphabet. I'm gonna need you to follow me.
I move for adoption of items C, E, G, I, K, M, O, Q, S, U, W, Y, AA, and AC.
Sounds like an eye exam.
Yes,
I'll second that.
yes. We have a motion and a second.
Number one, number two.
Roll call. But then we do need to go individually through emergency clause?
That's correct.
Correct.
Okay, item D is the emergency clause.
One moment, please. Counselor Parks, we're waiting on your vote. There you go.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Don't be taking
You're supposed
after
to
me.
remind me.
I'm so sorry.
The mayor and vice mayor tonight.
Item D is the emergency clause for ordinance number 3857.
Move for emergency clause.
I'll second.
Item F is emergency clause for ordinance 3858.
Move
Mike?
for,
Go ahead.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call. Item H, emergency clause for ordinance 3859.
so moved.
Second,
Ish.
or not.
Roll call. Item J, consideration emergency clause for ordinance 3861.
I'll make the motion.
David, these you got to sit
Looks like
really on
Counselor
top
Ford
of.
beat you.
You can second
I
it.
wasn't fast enough.
There we go.
All right, roll call. Item L is emergency clause for 3862.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call. Item N is emergency clause for 3863.
So moved.
Roll call. P is emergency clause for 3864.
Motion to approve?
Second.
R is emergency clause for 3865.
We got to finish the vote. There we go.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call. T is emergency clause for 3867.
Make a motion, approve it.
Second?
Roll call. V is emergency clause for 3868. I feel like I'm calling bingo.
A motion.
Second.
Okay, roll call. X is emergency clause for 3869.
Counselor Parks, we didn't get your vote. There we go.
Yep, got it. Okay. Second.
Second.
Okay. Z is emergency clause for 3870. AB is emergency clause for 3871.
So moved.
Second.
AD is emergency clause for 3872.
Make a motion.
Second.
Thank you.
Bingo.
Bingo, that's what he's going to say.
I'm glad we're clicking and not writing because my wrist would be tired from
I
casting.
know, right? Item 15 is remarks from governing body members. Just a reminder, if you don't have our city app, there are so many events happening, coming up, like, soon. April 26th is Bounce BA. May 1st is National Prayer Day, and we're going to be at the Farmers Market. Farmers Market is back open again on Saturdays and Tuesdays. Camp Bandage is the 3rd of May, and Fiesta de Mayo. The Ruck Off that Representative came out wrong, for veterans is May 10th, and so that's amazing. 3rd annual that Representative Ross has helped with that. So all kinds of fun stuff going on. So.
I do have something.
Okay.
Do you ever wonder who's the person behind our emergency 911? Do y'all ever wonder who answers the phone?
Yes.
All the time.
Okay, all we know about them is their voice, which is why National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, observed every second week in April, has been set aside to recognize and celebrate the work of telecommunicators helping to save millions of lives every day. If it weren't for the telecommunicators flawlessly doing their job, billions of lives would have been lost due to ultimately untimely assistance. So, throughout this week, we honor and thank those invisible telecommunicators who have continued to serve in this demanding profession. Just to give you some stats on what our Broken Arrow telecommunicators, which we call dispatch, but it's Telecommunicators Week, they have answered 45,269 911 calls in the last 12 months. 164,976 non-emergency calls. They've also handled 108 text to 911 calls.
Wow.
So I would think on the behalf of the council, we do appreciate our telecommunicators. I feel like they are the true first responders because that's who you talk to first to get the police and fire out to you. So anyway, we appreciate their hard work and hope they enjoy this week. Buy them cookies.
Yeah.
Take them gifts.
Yes. Anyone else?
Okay.
Okay.
Marta and I attended a play that I started to say high school students, but it's several schools involved with it, The Wizard of Oz. My niece was in it. She played Dorothy in it, and it was fantastic. I visited with Sloan, our youth city counselor, as we were there. But there were so many kids, even the elementary kids was involved with that for over 2 hours, and they planned it all themselves. I mean, 90% of it, and did it all, and they just did a phenomenal job. So Annie Graves is my niece's name, but she did a great job. Don't tell her I said this, but I didn't know she could sing at all. But, she was good, but those kids did an excellent job of putting on that performance. I was pleased with it.
Proud grandpa moment.
And this week, Thursday, our Leadership Broken Arrow class has their big project. It's called Be a Part of Us. It will be at Arch 302. There will be a reception. This year, the class chose to do a project on mental health awareness, and it has already impacted several people throughout the community just by participating in the construction of this project. So if you want to see something really cool, come out this weekend, this Thursday, and check it out. It will be displayed there for a couple of weeks as well. So if you can't come Thursday, go by, check it out. It's designed to spark conversation around mental health awareness, which is huge, as we all know, in this day and time, and it affects all of us in one way or another. So come by and check out Be a Part of Us.
Yep. Very cool. And I forgot to mention how amazing our city staff did for Trash Bash.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like it at the maintenance facility like that. Like, it was pretty smooth. It was, instead of being, I mean,
In and out.
in and out, yeah. It was awesome. So, and I got a trash can.
Wasn't it so cute?
So cute.
Yeah.
I didn't get a trash can.
Why?
I don't know.
Were you late?
I was early. I was there before you.
Oh.
I was the first counselor there.
I
For
will
the
say,
record.
the ammunition, I think they only got like 5 bullets. And,
Yeah.
I mean, so people are
That's
hanging on there.
expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's going to get that?
Hanging on to it, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. City manager?
I do, Mayor. Just a couple of things. Rocky informed me that we had 90-plus businesses for the farmers market opening. Obviously, we had to postpone it. So congratulations to community development for working so hard to, number one, get everyone back and to offer additional spaces. And obviously, there's not a lot of space left, which actually dovetails into the council's vision of expanding that area. So it's exciting to see the opportunities and the additional vendors that could be a part of this sometime in the future. So
Here's a question I noticed on Saturday is that Arch 302, their little outside patio, they put vendors out there. So it would be kind of cool to overflow. Obviously, we're going to improve the farmers market, but maybe we can overflow throughout the core of the Rose District with vendors.
Farmers market was packed Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, I don't know if it's because it was the first Saturday or it was just a lot of
packed.
vendors. I mean, it was very well placed and there wasn't a lot of duplications. It was really enjoyable.
So what I don't know is obviously some of the produce is not ready yet, and so those folks will be here eventually. You know, but there's been discussions. Don't throw anything about actually closing that block and actually offering some space there. However, vendors like to be in the exact same location, and so obviously there's a lot of challenges that go along with that. But it was interesting to see that, and so really I just want to thank the council for leading the way and looking for, rather than just have one of everything, we're offering many things, and
Yeah.
the feedback is amazing and that we're receiving. So that's first. Secondly, congratulations to council members on the re-elections and being sworn in. It was great to see the judge. I liked his tie. It was really cool. Also got to do something very cool today is the Chamber, Lori Lewis and James Bell set up and their team, a Hispanic Business Council. We did a video, the chief Arnold and I did a video today just talking about our relationship with the Hispanic community and what we are trying to accomplish with making them feel welcome and a part of Broken Arrow. So that'll probably air very soon, but I ask if we could do that on some type of periodical basis. And maybe it's something the council members could be involved with, because obviously not only do they hear from the chief and the city manager, but I think it'd be good if they would hear from also the elected officials as well about the importance of that emerging community, folks into our community. So just stay tuned on that. And the final thing is that, I love this city very much, and my passion showed earlier, because for someone to tell me we're going to do the best we can, none of my team would accept that, and council doesn't accept it from me. And so felt like I needed, on behalf of you and the residents, to show my passion is that we expect the developers and contractors in this city to perform the same level that I expect everyone and you expect of me. And that was the purpose of my saying what I said this evening. So I just want to let you know is that our residents deserve better. And so we will certainly work with Kenny's already been some suggestions. We need to get them out there to fix it, and I'd like to bring that application back at the very next meeting. There's no reason why they shouldn't go forward if council decides that's the best thing, but we will address those concerns, and I just want all the residents to know that.
I appreciate you two being so passionate about that, and I know the rest of the council does too. And on that note, happy wedding anniversary today.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing your anniversary with us.
Well, back to what you were saying though, too, it was a tough decision to make to allow it to go in there anyway.
Oh, we got beat up
And
big
then
time
to
for
get
that
beat
one.
up again after the fact, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I sure didn't like it either.
Well, my staff works very hard, and, we're going to do what's right for the citizens. I don't know what other agendas may be out there, but for us, this is about making the developer, which I believe they will. And some things happen. Now they got to fix them. But our focus and Kenny's focus will be to address, and Pat Wilson and also Charlie Bright will make sure they're in compliance so that you can make an informed decision to let that go forward so they can follow the approvals.
Good.
Indeed. We do have an executive session, so I'll entertain a motion to take a brief recess.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Pickle,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Parks,
Yes.
Wimpy.
Yes. Call the Broken Arrow Municipal Authority to order. Roll call?
Pickle,
Here.
Green,
Here.
Ford,
Here.
Parks.
Here.
Wimpy.
Here. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as it stands.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call. There are no public hearings, appeals, presentations, recognitions, or awards. No general authority business. Any remarks by governing body members? City manager?
I have none, Madam Chair.
There's no executive order or session.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Is there a motion and a second? Roll call. Call the Broken Arrow Economic Development Authority to order. Roll call.
Pickle,
Here.
Green,
Here.
Ford,
Here.
Parks,
Here.
Wimpy.
Here. All right, any items to be removed from the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
There's no public hearings, presentations, recognitions, or awards.
Hey, we didn't get the vote.
What?
There we go.
How about that? No general authority business. Remarks by governing body members. City manager.
None, Madam Chair.
All right. Entertain a motion to clear the room to go.
Motion to adjourn the
Oh,
economic
yes.
development.
Second.
Okay, now entertain a motion.
Make a motion to take a brief recess for the room for executive session.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Pickle,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Parks,
Yes.
Wimpy.
Yes.
I seconded it. It just didn't come up.